Hello and welcome to a game in the lower brackets between Animorph and TimBaler in the Line War tournament. And I think Animorph is definitely the favorite here without hurting anyone's feelings. Animorph should win this 99 out of 100 times. That said, there's no easy just like if you underestimate your opponent, it can end up in a fatal way. Fatal is a strong word, but you could end up losing, right? If you underestimate your opponent too much. So Animorph, of course, has to play a good game and do what we all know he can, and take home the win here. And I'm fairly certain that he will. But who knows? Let's see what happens. TimBaler is definitely not a bad player at all. So let's actually take a look at where they came from. So Animorph, was kicked down into the losers brackets by Nickname. He lost both the games. And TimBaler did not get to play his game in the losers bracket against Viska, who was actually in my group. And I was just trying to look up the let me just see if I can find the tournament stats, because I don't know how TimBaler did in his tournament, or in his group, and I'm not sure I have it actually. Anyways, Animorph is starting on a long line here, and TimBaler over here at the east side of the map. And I think already now Animorph is off to a slightly better starting position. Let's see what TimBaler does. He does put down some eco and 2 barracks, some air, while Animorph is doing 3 barracks, 1 factory, air, and an industry. And I'm just looking now at the scores in the tournament just to see how TimBaler performed. And Baler did win 2 games, both against Wolfart. And he was in the group with Harko and T. So this might be the end of the route for TimBaler in the tournament, but it would be so crazy and fun to see if he could manage to take off a game from Animorph and maybe even win. Who knows? Nothing is determined in advance. Of course, we have the players that we expect to win, but everything can happen. I just want to make it clear what the expectations are, because then you would also understand more if I'm going crazy about TimBaler suddenly being on top in the game, or something similar like that. Animorph is also building a town, and he's very what's it called, like He's readying up for any air from TimBaler, because he does expect it, apparently. Let's see if they spot each other. TimBaler does spot the first land from Animorph, and the other way around is true as well. Animorph is all the way up here. These are fairly easy targets. TimBaler could rather fast try to, and he does, and that's definitely the right play here. TimBaler is also building SAMs and an interceptor, which can work wonders. If Animorph sends his helis up here, then this interceptor will be valuable, rather than having to move these SAMs back and forth all the time. What I think is important for TimBaler is not to let Animorph just get down here, and unfortunately it seems like it does. Unfortunately for TimBaler, that is. But it does force Animorph to retreat here, and he can actually recap some of his, not recap, but conquer some of Animorph's territories. But letting Animorph down here and get all of this land for free is just a losing game waiting to happen, because that will give Animorph so much eco. And here comes the reward of building an interceptor as the second one, as the second plane out of this airport. Because I imagine he would be able to take down one heli at least. Or he might be unlucky with the randomness of the interceptor targeting here. So he might end up having two very damaged helis instead. That's a bit lucky for Animorph. But Animorph is going straight for the gas, and I don't, yeah, actually never mind. TimBaler just realizes now, and he's in a hurry to defend this gas. He put maybe way too many units he directed too many units up here north, which leaves him vulnerable over here, but he might be able, I think it will go down, depending on how Animorph, yeah, he targeted it, so I would be surprised if this gas does not go down. And that will hurt TimBaler quite a bit, because he's also building tanks. And Animorph got the SAMs here already. Very well played. He got the gas. And that completely stuns all of TimBaler's gas units. But he's already on top of it, building a new one. And I think this is also an error from TimBaler. He's putting two squads aside to cap a rather small piece of land. 4 of these units could have been fighting here, defending the gas or trying to contest this area. TimBaler could really use his interceptor now. But I think it should be up and running soon. I don't think this counts as being in the mountains, so it's rather fast to build. And AKA suggested to focus a bit more on the micro as well, so I'll try to do that. Animorph is just moving away from these units. He's not interested in the fight, he just wants to get in on TimBaler's base, and he's microing here and trying to catch these artilleries off guard and close the space between them so they cannot just fire in the background from a distance. And TimBaler does get his interceptor in the air. And I don't know if he shot down a helicopter. I saw some, yeah, he did. But Animorph got his interceptor of his own now. Now I think TimBaler is a bit more like me. The microing is not really happening too much. So it's probably more interesting to watch micro from Animorph. And disclaimer, I'm not very good at microing either. So in my games you will see, just like TimBaler here, is just basic lines, go for it, and hope for the best. Let's actually look at some eco. 630 for Animorph and 630 for TimBaler, exactly equal. So now TimBaler just has to decide what to do with these units. Should they be shipped across, or is that too expensive? Should they just move back and cap the missing territories on the way? And in the meantime, Animorph just got a free pass on this whole island. And these two squads could actually give TimBaler an advance. Yeah, I was distracted. You may even heard the the sound on the recording. What I wanted to say is two squads from TimBaler getting down here could actually give TimBaler the advantage down here and start capping for his purpose, for his control. It's not looking too good for TimBaler though here on the front line. Despite them having about equal economy. And let's just take a quick look. Here goes the counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 factories for TimBaler and 2 infantry, or 2 barracks. And Animorph has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 barracks and 3 factories. So 8 in total versus 7. So not only does Animorph have a slight, or at least earlier, not too much microing going on right now, but he does outproduce TimBaler. TimBaler actually puts down a town up here. The issue now is that Animorph will keep capping here. He will just keep getting more and more territory, as will he down here, while TimBaler's expansion is drastically slowing down. Now these guys have to go up here and get 1 and 1, so very, very slow cap, which means that in a minute Animorph will be a bit more ahead, I think. Also, he's actually starting to push in here and gain control of some of these territories. And Animorph has a lot of SAMs. And that might be TimBaler's advantage right now. That he could beat Animorph's army just by not building as many SAMs. But this is kind of trouble for TimBaler, especially if he sends in one heli at a time. That's gonna hurt a lot. But all in all, his air is actually pretty encapsulated just by having SAMs here and here. Animorph does a very good job at shutting his air down, shutting TimBaler's air down. And that was another barracks. TimBaler puts down another barracks and another factory. $780 and 700. So now it starts to take off for Animorph. And this is perhaps where you would start to reconsider if you should really keep building these air units. But 2 tanks, and he's actually building tanks, could do wonders. They could attack these SAMs. But of course the issue is that Animorph also has helis. But a very equal fight here. If TimBaler manages to get a blob running, because Animorph has focused more on infantry. So I think TimBaler's shot at things right now is having or getting as a arty blob. When those start to roll, you can't be unstoppable for anything else than a rocket. This is not looking good for TimBaler. Animorph is focusing on TimBaler's SAMs as well, with his own SAMs. See, these could build up over time. But eco-wise, it's not good. And now TimBaler actually sends these units down here, and I like that. He needed to do that a long time ago. Better late than never. What is that? I don't know if you can say that in English. That's a Danish saying, at least. I don't know if it works in English. Better late than never. Yeah. That's my translation, at least. Unfortunately for TimBaler, this starts to dwindle now, and I think this is not looking good for TimBaler. And Animorph is obviously also feeling fairly confident, building barracks all the way up here. TimBaler does try to mix it up a bit with a commando. Maybe trying to do a sneak attack or just to scout some of the units. And Animorph does spot this, and he will most likely take them out with air. if he cares at all. Instead he builds a barracks down here to defend it. So he does care, and here comes the air. And that's of course the issue with having other units go and cap. You need to have interceptor or SAMs to provide air defense. But TimBaler actually changes his mind and he wants to go for Animorph's buildings with these two squads. I don't think they'll make it though. And rushing in, they will lose some health. And Animorph puts down another barracks. And TimBaler changes his mind. He wants to go for the back of Animorph's base, but they'll never survive that long. And Animorph is starting to push through here. He's really getting close to TimBaler's base. Let's look at the eco. So TimBaler is losing eco, and Animorph is almost at 1,000 now. 300 ahead. But he does distract both the helis and a bunch of infantry. I don't think they'll get to have a single snipe though. And he's keep going at it. He wants to take them all the way into the back. Meanwhile, he's getting overrun at his main base. And they died, unfortunately. And I think it's just a few minutes now we have left of this game before TimBaler acknowledges that there's no way back. There you go. Not even minutes, just a few seconds. Well played by both. That means that TimBaler gets to pick the second seed. And if he loses that, he's out of the tournament, unfortunately. And Animorph can continue on. But all depends on the second game. I think TimBaler, he did a good job. Maybe a bit too focused on factory. It's been a while at least since I've seen that many factories. Maybe it could have, because the advantage is that if you really get that RT blob rolling, right, it can be devastating. But I think he kind of he should have expanded more south, more towards Animorph instead of only backwards, because it left all of the map to Animorph, and beating Animorph with a eco disadvantage is a tough one for any player. So well played by both, and good luck in the next game. I hope you enjoyed this game, and I'll see you around. Have a nice day. Bye.